Hi, this is Brazel and welcome back to my world. Today I want to talk about dressing for success, or dressing and creating the picture to what it is that you actually want. Now, we're at one of my most favourite hills. It's a massive hill. It nearly goes for 3/4 of a kilometre and it just goes straight up. And believe you, when you drive it, you're in second gear. You're not, or you sometimes even drop back to first gear. So we're talking about a hill. Most people won't even walk it. I can walk it. I just decided if I wanted to go to the next stage in life, I really wanted to run the hill. So I started coming out here and walking it first, which was great. Then I started to run it, and then I would get to a certain distance. And there's one particular day, I was like, I can't get past this house halfway up. What's going on? And one day I'd done it about 4 times, ran up, walked back, ran up, walked back. And this guy came out, which was at number 26, and he said, can I ask you what you're doing? And I said, I'm trying to get the mind positive. I'm setting some goals, and I really want to run this hill to put me in the right mind focus to win at what I want to win. And we got chatting about everything. Now, one of the things, number 26 says you self-sabotage. So that was one of the clues that was clicking back in my mind while we're having this conversation. And then out of the blue, after we got chatting about what I did and how I did it, and he said, I hope you don't mind me saying something. And I said, no, what? And he said, you're just a female version of Forrest Gump. And I kind of looked at myself and I'm thinking, oh man, am I that bad? And then this is what I actually looked like on the day. And I probably have to admit I was a pretty good version, a female version of Forrest Gump. And at first I looked at my clothes and I thought, oh well, I kind of look a little bit gumpy. And he said, no, that's not what I'm talking about. He said, you have an idea in your head and you just go for it, which was so positive. So I didn't mind being called a female version of Forrest Gump. But I did take note of being at number 26, self-sabotage, and I went straight down to the post office and said, can you take a picture of me? Do I look like Forrest Gump? And they said, no. But then I looked at the picture and I thought, the way I'm dressed in this picture, there is no way that paints a picture of success, achievement, and if I'm really serious about conquering this hill, and I mean it's a mighty hill, I need to dress as if I'm empowered to actually conquer it. So hence, 3 days later, or straight away I went back, and before I attacked this hill again, I got dressed the way I am. I got rid of my scrappy shoes and I put my proper runners on, and I started to put my pants on, which I know are my running pants. I put my cap on, not an orange cap to say I needed change, but actually a cap that made me feel as if, yes, I'm going to do this. Now, I've got a couple of other tips for you, but wherever it is in a goal that you want, you have to dress to what it is that you want. So when I first got back, I first saw what I was dressing in and it wasn't making any sense. When I went and got changed in this, 3 days later, I ran this hill so easily. It was just like a piece of cake. But my mind was in the right spot. I was dressed for success, and of course I succeeded. So let me take you to halfway to see what was another turning point in conquering this hill. This is the part where I knew I could run quite easily up to no effort whatsoever. I mean, maybe a little bit of effort. But what I would get here, and I'm thinking, you can still see where the hill goes up and it turns around and it still goes. So my mind kept saying, it's still going to be hard work, it's still going to be hard work. So once I changed my dress, I got to this point, I walked up one day, and sometimes you've got to see what it feels like to have the achievement that you want. So what I did is decided to go right to the top, but walk from down there to here, start to rest, get my mind into ready, and then from here, run the end of the journey, knowing then what it felt like from here to get to there. So I'm going to take you right to the top, but that was the major turning point. 1, I wasn't dressed properly for the success. 2, I knew I could run there, but I still had this daunting phase of how to get around the corner and up the top. But walking to there on this particular day, going to the top, running from there to the top in one go, I found this to there was so easy. Came down, one try, did it immediately, and it was no effort. Well, I mean, that's a fib. It was an effort, but what I mean, accomplished it the moment I'd got the result, dressed, mind in the right spot, and the focus. So sometimes in life, whether it's something you want to achieve, you get so far, but you just don't get over that next hurdle. And sometimes things are just around the corner. So such as this hill is just around the corner. If we actually go around the corner, we might be able to achieve something that we thought we could. All right, so we're going to go to the top, and I'm going to show you what it's like when we get around the corner, around another corner to the top, and then we're going to go over the tips that I know I can take you through to be successful. Go. So from there to here, what was going through my head before was, oh no, it's still a hill, I don't know what's around it. But from here to there is so easy, which I'll show you. And then when we get to there, from there to there is virtually nothing. And that's what happens with projects, with life, with business, or a goal that you set. You take off like massive and you know where you want to get there, but you get to a stagnant point. And that's where sometimes all you got to do is go around the corner or open a door and you're virtually there, but we don't take that next step. So let me show you where the next step is, and then look at my hill. Isn't it super? Okay, we're at the top of the hill. Now my camera guys said they thought the hill finished further down there, and it's like, mate, you've got to go around the corner again. So you can see where I took you to around the corner, to around that corner to here. There's hardly any hill, there's hardly anything. And really, from getting the point where I knew I could run to this, it made me realize how easy it was. Okay, so my message is dressing for success. First, have the goal that you want to go to, know that you want to go to, be positive about it, and be very clear of what it was. I knew I didn't want to just walk this hill, I knew I wanted to run it. But run it with a purpose in mind, which was taking my business to a whole different level. Now, I wasn't dressed right first, so if I'm not dressed right, my mind can't be in the right spot. So I changed to dressing the right way. Then I knew I could only still get so far, so then sometimes you've got to go to the end to see and get that feeling of what your goal feels like when you actually get there. And then I realized, as I said before, sometimes you've only just got to go around the corner, and we don't go around that corner to get it. So once I got to there, walked it, ran this last bit, I thought, wow, I can do this. Back down the hill, and the job was done. Now, have a think about where you are. First, what is your goal? Are you clear about it? Are you really committed to it? Are you dressing for the success that you want? If you're not, go do something about it. This is Brazel, and I'll be back with more tips for you at another date.